All right, guys, so here's a bathroom we just finished. Check out some of the cool features. We have under cabinet lighting. We have amazing lighting on the walls, and we're about to install the mirrors, and I'll show you guys what those look like when we're all said and done. Let's go. So we have our mirrors. Let's get these boxes cut open. Don't go too crazy on your cuts here. You don't want to damage what's inside the box. This is going to be a stunning addition to the bathroom. Yes. So our mirror is going to mount with a couple of little clips here. So one of the things that we're going to want to do is identify what the distance is above the base to the top of this fitting. And so let's get our tape measure. We'll get going on that. All right, now that we have our tape measure, let's measure these things out. One of the cool things that you'll see from our projects is there's going to be intentionality behind the layouts. You're going to get what we call design sheets and an elevation of this wall. And so I know exactly how high the mirror is going to be above the backsplash, how far it is going to be away from these lights. And so we just need to find the orientation here. And then we have the ability to set our anchors and hang the mirror. So from the base of the mirror up to the space that is right at the top of that section is going to be 23 3/4 of an inch. And let's just make sure that both sides are the same, 23 3/4. Let's check our on center. So what is the space in between them? So we have 21.5 inches. So we are in a good spot. I know that I want 3 inches above this. So if we add 3 inches to the measurement that we just took down, then we can get that math situated where we know that's gonna align. So we're at 23 3/4 plus the 3 inches that I want. I'm gonna be 26 3/4. And then the width of the mirror overall should be 24 inches. A little less than 24, we're at 23 3/4. So we're gonna find a center point here. We have 26 inches, exactly what we were hoping for between the light fixtures. We'll find that center measurement and then we are in business. So 26, half of that is gonna be 13. Find your center mark. We're going to be 26 3/4 above that. So we'll get our 26 3/4 set here. And then we said that we are 21.5 inches off on center. So if we get that measurement here, we can use that spacing to go 21.5. So we're gonna go 21, 10 3/4 each direction, and we are in a good spot. Let's actually tape a measurement. So we're at 21.8. So we're gonna pull that over here as well. And then we're gonna go 10 3/4 both directions. So we'll go 10 3/4 here, and then we're gonna go 10 3/4 the other direction, 10 3/4 going the other way. Should be 21.5 if we measure in between those two pieces, 21.5 right on the nose. And then now that we have our orientation line going this direction, let's just re-verify that 26 3/4 going up, 26 3/4 on both sides. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see that. But now I know if I get to that line, I'm gonna cross these guys so that I know exactly where the top of that piece is on both sides. So I got pretty close both ways, and now we're gonna pull that line down, and that's my center mark for both, and we're in business. We're gonna use these blue ones because the head size of the screw is a little larger, and when it gets set into this, it's not gonna come out as it's big enough that it's gonna hold in there. So let's get these anchors set, show you how that works. There's a Phillips screw head that's in this, so you have the ability to actually put it right on your drill, and then you can drill that in. So wherever your mark is, we're just gonna go ahead and start drilling. That flushed the drywall. Any of the paint that's coming loose there is okay. That's all gonna get hidden by the mirror. Nice and firm on both ends. Then we're gonna go ahead and put our screws in here. So one of the things that you'll see on the mirror is the mounting hardware is pretty flush. So when this gets installed, I don't have to have the screws very far off of the wall. So we're gonna pull this in quite a ways, almost all the way to the wall. And that way this should slide on and be pretty firm as it sets in there. And the same for that one. Now we'll grab this beautiful mirror, get this moved back around, and see if we can find those rounding pieces. Well, I think this side is a little too snug, so let's back this one off just a little bit. Okay, so what has happened here, the reason why we're a little loose on the install is because as these anchors were getting set, they're a little bit off. So I'm gonna back the screws out just a little bit to give me the ability to flex those in just a tad. And so we're gonna go ahead and put this mirror back up. I just look at press it there on this side first. That guy's coming down, and she is a beauty and nice and level. So take a peek at that. Nice and level, right even with the bottom of the outlet. And that, my friends, is a beautifully finished mirror installation. Now that we have that mirror installed, we'll go ahead and install the second mirror. We know what the height measurement is gonna be because we just got it off of that one, but we still wanna make sure that we center this. This is exactly the same, 26 inches. We can confirm that it's 21 1/8 off the wall. So as we're measuring our 26 3/4 up, we want to make sure that we know kind of where that's going to sit. The reason that I'm measuring this 26 3/4 here on this portion of the wall, these two marks are kind of irrelevant, but it's going to give us an orientation to know that it's going to be about that high on each side when we pull our 10 3/4 measurement off of these center marks. So you can do it a different way. I'm sure there's different thought processes behind how these are being installed, but this is what works well for us, is we're going to basically make sure that these are centered between the light fixtures versus trying to do this a different way. If we wanted to take a measurement off of this space and go 21 1/8, we have the ability to do that. So we could just go ahead and pull that mark here, and then we're not using the kind of eyeball estimation on that end. So we can go 10 3/4 off of this. That way it's up at the right height. And same thing going back this way. So as we get our 10 3/4, we're gonna get that oriented well and make that mark. And now again, we're gonna be pretty close. We're not gonna be exact. So as you see, those marks are not intersecting, but we are going to make them intersect so that we know where to set our anchors. And so we'll just go ahead and pull these lines up. We're close enough that you can eyeball it at this point and get our 26 3/4 going here. And then again, we're going to use aftermarket anchors so that it's easier to set these guys in. So I can see that that anchor actually came off of the X just a little bit, like the other side. So we're good. And you can see these bend a little bit as we're going to put these in. I want to actually bend that one out. Inspect that mirror, make sure there's no issues. And then we're going to go ahead and get this puppy installed. Absolutely beautiful. Nice and level, even with the other one. Guys, that is what it looks like when you finish a couple of mirrors off really, really well. Let's go.